Hi, my name is Janet Hart Leonard. I joined Hope Writers in May of 2021, and I wrote my first book that was published in May of 2022. I'm 66 years old, and this has been a lifelong dream of mine. So I had a lot of thoughts of how do I go about this because I had a lot to learn. I began thinking, and I started just writing my first chapter. And I realized that writing was a lot like creating a barn and bringing people to it, because that was your readers. So if I thought about writing as far as a first draft would be simply to write the facts, write what happened. So I did that. So that started my first chapter. Then I thought about, well, that's a writer, so what's a good writer do? Well, they bring in the color, they bring in the description so that people can, as they read, see what's happening, see the colors, see how it feels. That as I researched, I realized a gifted or an accomplished writer doesn't always know the facts of writing and all put together, but they make people feel. So after I wrote my second draft with the colors and introducing them, what I call to the inside of the barn, then I went to the third draft, which just might have been edited 10,000 times, but that third draft was where people felt what I felt. I brought them into the barn and I made them want to stay there. And they were sad when they had to leave, and that was what my goal was. It's been quite an undertaking, but then I did my research at Barnes and Noble and libraries. I read memoirs by people who were just ordinary people like me. I knew that no ghost or ghostwriter could write my story. So as I read some different memoirs, I would only read 30 or 40 pages because I wanted to see what it was that drew me into that book or kept me into that book. If I couldn't do that within 30 or 40 pages, they might just set it down. So then I started thinking, okay, what's my cover going to look like? So back to Barnes and Noble, and I stood back and I looked at the different books in nonfiction. What drew me to that certain book? The colors, the font, the subtitles that would make me want to pick it up and look at it. Then I turned them over and I realized it was that back cover that made me want to buy the book and read the book. So I looked at the blurbs. I know I looked at the blurbs and what they said, but who the people were writing them, because I knew that would be important for my book as well. Then I looked at the bio of the author. What was something about that author that drew me to them? Were they like me? Have they gone through what I had gone through? And then I read the description. What's this book going to say to me? What's it going to mean to me? So it was a process of putting all that together. And through Hope Writers, I found a typewriter creative company who put this all together for me. They understood it was a memoir, but then it was also the columns I had been writing for 16 years for the newspaper. And then when I went to launch the book, overwhelming. So I realized that it's not only the people you know, but the people that they know and what they know. So who could I get my book to that would influence other people to read my book? I had 2 stores in my community that were going to sell my book. And so I asked them, you want a book to read? And that way they could actually tell the people coming in, this is what happens in this book. You need to read this book. You need to buy this book. That made a difference. I also went to the people who were influencers in my community that I knew would get the word out. I also contacted a few book clubs and asked one of the people in each of the clubs, you want to read my book? So it was, I call it low budget marketing, but it has made a difference. These were little steps along the way that I took, but I had my dream come true. And the one thing I want you all to know, that if God holds your pen, He writes a much better story than you ever could. Keep writing, friends.